You know, I've always been fascinated by how nature never seems to rush, yet somehow everything gets done. A sunflower doesn't sprint to bloom, and a seashell doesn't force its spiral. They just follow a rhythm better known as the Fibonacci sequence. 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 30. This is nature's code, repeating, compounding, and expanding effortlessly. And just like nature's rhythm, your finances should work in the same way. Not chaotic, not reactive, just rhythm. Because when your money flows in balance, it grows organically, just like nature intended. And that flow doesn't just apply to building wealth, it also applies to protecting it. Which brings me to today's discussion about something most people overlook until it's too late, namely gap cover. This is the safety net beneath your medical aid. Here's the thing, and I see this a lot with professionals. They assume that if you're on a good medical aid, they will be fully covered. It feels logical, right? You are paying a premium plan for a premium product and it should cover everything. But here's the truth, it doesn't. Every year, thousands of South Africans, many of them doctors, specialists and dentists, are left with bills they never expected. If your surgeon charges 400% of the medical aid rate, and your scheme only pays 100%, who covers the rest? You do, unless you have gap cover. And this is where the Fibonacci flow comes back into play. Because your medical aid and your gap cover aren't two separate things. They're part of the same sequence. One gives you access, the other provides the harmony. And when they work together, everything balances out beautifully. Let me show you what I mean by that. So a few years ago, one of my clients, a young anaesthetist, had to undergo a routine procedure. Everything went smoothly medically until the bill arrived. My client's surgeon and the anaesthetist charged 350% of medical aid rates. Her medical aid, unfortunately, only paid 100%. That means she owed over 28,000 Rand out of pocket, which she was liable to pay to the specialist and the anaesthetist. Fortunately, she had gap cover, and within a few weeks, the entire amount was reimbursed to her. That's what I mean by completing the sequence. She didn't have to sell investments. She didn't have to dip into an overdraft or borrow for family. All my client had to do is she could focus on recovery, physically and financially. It's a powerful reminder that financial protection, when designed in flow, becomes invisible until you need it. So how do you create that kind of harmony? I always tell clients, think of your medical aid as your admission ticket. It gets you into the hospital. But your gap cover, that's your backstage pass. It makes sure you walk out financially intact. They belong together, like the number 2 and the number 3 in the Fibonacci sequence. Separate, they are just numbers, but together they create momentum. And what's beautiful about this flow is that it's not expensive to maintain. For roughly the price of only 2 cappuccinos a week, you can protect yourself against medical shortfalls that could otherwise derail your finances. But to make the most of it, you need to understand how it works, because this isn't just another policy, it's part of your rhythm. Here's what most people miss. Gap cover isn't a medical aid. It's a supplementary policy. This means that your gap cover doesn't pay the hospital directly. Your gap cover will pay you. And it steps in after your medical aid has done its part. But here's why it matters. Because the right gap cover can pay you up to 500% of medical aid tariffs. It can cover for co-payments such as scopes, MRIs, oncology. It's like the part of the Fibonacci spiral that expands effortlessly. It catches what your medical aid leaves behind, keeping your finances in proportion. And that's where the real mindset shift happens. Here's what a Fibonacci really teaches us. Nature doesn't panic when winter comes. It trusts the pattern. It knows that what's planted will multiply when the time is right. And that's the same mindset I encourage my clients to adopt. Don't panic at every curveball, every hospital bill, every tax year, every market dip. Trust your rhythm. Because peace, real peace, isn't found in control. It's found in the flow. You've worked incredibly hard to build a career. Years of study, late nights, sacrifices. Why let one unexpected bill undo all of that progress? Gap cover isn't about paranoia, it's about preparation. It's about designing your financial life the same way nature designs everything, in sequence, in symmetry, and in flow. Because being covered and being protected are two very different things. And when your finances follow that natural Fibonacci rhythm, everything just works together. Until next time, plan.